My guest today is a beautiful young lady who loves movies, shopping, traveling, and most of all, is very, very big on reading books. She's the daughter of the late Emir of Kano, His Majesty Ado Bayero. She was very close to her father and during his time on earth, and for that reason, she decided it was worth the while to put up a documentary, which was our first project and dedicated it to him as a labor of love. Please join me in welcoming Zainab Ado Bayero.
Thank you
How
so
are you doing,
much.
my sister?
I'm fine, thank you.
So very nice to have you on the program.
It feels great to be here. Thank you.
So why do you love reading? Are you an introvert?
Absolutely, yeah. I've always been an introvert, a bit antisocial. Growing up, I wasn't too comfortable around too many people. I would be so shy, and I'll feel very vulnerable.
I like the fact that I said I will be, but you are still shy.
Yeah, I guess I am, but I guess I'm grown up now, so I tend to be a bit more confident. But so that's the reason I loved reading so much. I could just escape to a different world, and the characters and the books kind of spoke to me more than people did. So that's a bit weird, I know. But that's the reason I became so obsessed with reading. And books take you everywhere.
Everywhere in the world.
Ancient times, could be the 70s, it could be the 80s, it could be the 19th century, and even the future, with sci-fi and different books. So that's the reason that I became so obsessed with reading. And I really, really love reading, and it kind of inspired me to even write and also do this. So,
How young were you when you realized that you were royalty?
oh wow. I realized that when my father would be on his horse during like the Salah festivities and the Durbar festivals. And even when we would be in the palace, I would see so many people coming to kneel and pay homage to him. And that's when I realized, okay, something was different.
Something fishy is going
Yeah,
on.
so then I would ask my mom sometimes, like also when we would travel to my mom's town, which is in Edo State. Her father also drew those kind of crowds. So I asked her, I was like, why is daddy and grandpa? Why do people always
Why are people always bending to them?
abandon, Then she was like, oh, okay, because they're the rulers of their people. I was like, okay, what does that mean? She was like, they've been given the task to rule and lead their people. So
Oh, for the sake of those, I hope I try to read as much as possible on my guests, but for the sake of those who don't know,
yeah.
who was grandpa on mommy's side?
He was an Otaru in Auchi. So that means the official title given to the king, the ruler. In the north now is the emir. So he was the Otaru. That means the king of Auchi, which
You're
is
very
in Edo
lucky.
State.
You're a princess of Auchi, you're a princess of the north. Do you, by any chance, speak the Auchi language?
When I was a little girl, I
Small.
did a bit.
What can you say in the language?
I
Right
can't really
now,
speak.
nothing at all. Can you say good morning, good evening?
Good morning, no, but I think I can say hello,
Or can you say hello?
which is Mo.
Mo? Moabudu. Moabudu. So, but your Hausa is fluent.
Not really, no.
Okay. So
not
what can you
really.
say in Hausa?
Ah,
In Naomi?
okay, that's good afternoon.
Yeah, Giri?
Yeah, good. How's the town? That's what it means actually. But I'm not really fluent. in
Alaka Albarka, Alaka
it. You can actually speak.
So, growing up,
Yeah.
what did you want to do?
I think people always ask kids like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And looking back now, I think it's so wrong to ask kids that.
You put a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Puts
it's
a lot of pressure
on them, and it's like, how would you know what you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, you might have dreams, you might think, oh, I want this, but destiny can just direct you on a different path. But growing up, I thought I wanted to be a doctor
Mm.
because I loved
Why?
that people, you save lives, you help to keep people alive, you heal people. But I had different passions. At first, I thought I was going to be a ballerina.
Gay, gay.
When we were in London, when I was 5 years old, I had my tutu, my
Mm-hmm.
ballet flats, and I would stand in the
And
front
you
of the
do all
TV
that.
and I would be doing the whole. And my mom would be like, "What's going on?" I'll be like, "I love ballet shows. I've ever seen a black girl being a ballerina." I was like, maybe I'll be the
Oh, that's
first.
true. Have you ever seen a black ballerina?
I think the one exists now. But
Ah.
back then it was unheard of. And she was like, why are you into ballet? I was like, I love it. I want to go to ballet classes. And she was like, oh, I don't think so. I was like, why? She was like, because you're a Muslim and you're from Kano. Your dad wouldn't like that. I was like, I was heartbroken at that point. But when we came back to Nigeria, I guess I kind of understood why it didn't make sense for
Then
me
what
to do.
other things do you want to do?
Then later on, I guess I said, oh, lawyer, maybe fight for injustice and stuff like that. Just I had different passions for different things, but this idea of filmmaking just popped up. Like the past few years, I've been thinking of
And
it.
which is my question. Why filmmaking? What was the attraction? What was the your desire?
Yeah, because growing up, I always felt this immense connection when I would watch like a great movie. It would make me feel elated or sad, or it just sparked different emotions
Do
in
you
me.
cry?
Yeah, like when I
I'm
was.
one of the few people that don't cry when I watch movies. I don't cry. It's just that I find some tears trying to disgrace me, but I don't cry. I
Yeah,
never cry.
growing up, I actually used to cry when I watched such an emotional scene or a movie. And my mom even told me, she was like, even when you was young, as 3, 4 years old, you would just start crying, tearing up. I was like, really? She was like, yeah, like when something is going wrong, maybe the story is so powerful and emotional, I'll just start crying. Or sometimes if it has a happy ending, I would be so happy. Like I said, movies, music were an escapism for me
Mhm.
from my reality sometimes because, like I said, I was really more comfortable watching, escaping to different worlds than being, because I didn't really have much in common with the people around me. So I guess movies kind of gave me that comfort. So I decided that I would love to do a movie to make someone feel the way I felt when I was growing up
Mm.
watching some movies, whether it's the sound of music, just some iconic
What do you
movies.
remember from Sound of Music?
My God, I remember Julie Andrews.
Do you remember how do you solve a problem like money?
Yes, now that you're saying it, I can remember. So it was such an iconic movie. I think I watched that movie over 100 times when I was a kid. It's like every day I'll tell mommy I need to watch The Sound of Music, and she'll be like, okay, okay, fine. And everyone around her will be like, oh no, not The Sound of Music
Sound
today.
of Music. Wow, your taste is really nice. Sound of Music. That means you watch Burning Train. Did you ever watch Burning Train? It was an Indian film.
Bonnie Train. No, sometimes Indian films have Indian titles.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
This one was Burning Train.
okay.
But what kind of movies moved you?
Dramatic. I also love suspense a lot, where you never know where the story's gonna go. Cat and mouse kind of games. Thrillers like heist movies. Also, I have this unique courtroom dramas where you never know where it's gonna take, where it's gonna go. Like movies that are adapted from novels. Also, I really found interesting. And growing up, also, I was a big fan of Harry Potter. I would.
I remember my wife stopping my children from watching Harry Potter because she said he's devilish. He's
Bewitching stuff, yeah. So everyone
Yeah.
was like, I grew up with Harry and his friends at Hogwarts, so that was also one big movie that I loved growing up because even at midnight when I had homework, I would be reading Harry Potter. So each time the movies came up, it would be like an adventure.
Now let's talk about greatness. What was it about your father
Yeah.
that made you make up your mind that the world must not forget this man?
That's a great question. Um, my dad was a man with very unique attributes. He was charismatic, he was confident, but at the same time, he had a very gentle soul. You know, he was a man who believed in his people, who loved his people. He served his people for 51 years. And
Wow. He was on throne for 51 years.
yeah, you know, and
Wow.
that is a lifetime.
Wow.
And I thought that this is a man who deserves to be remembered because, and he became a king at such a young age. He was 33 years old when he ascended the throne. And he was the youngest, and he became the longest reigning monarch in Kano history, and that's among 56 kings since the first king in Kano. So I thought, even if he wasn't my dad, this is a
There's a
historical.
story to be told there.
Yes, it's an impressive life he led. You know, going being born into such a dynasty, and he got to experience Nigeria at a very critical moment. You know, just 3 years into Nigeria's independence, 1963, he ascended the throne of Kano, and he got to experience, you know, the Civil War, and he played a really pivotal role in that point in Nigeria's history also, which I explore in this documentary. His triumphs, his trials. You know, he went through so much. I couldn't even tell everything that he went through because it's such an extensive story. But I tried to dig into the most important parts that people should know. So, being a monarch who preached peace and unity and who got to experience Nigeria's evolving, you know, geopolitical, social, and economic landscape for 5 decades. I thought, definitely this is a man who needs to be
What do you
remembered.
remember the most about him that shaped you, that till tomorrow still is the focal point of why you do what you do? What is that one thing that you remember about him?
Wow. Um, to just say one thing or one moment would be hard. But I think what I admired most about him was his dedication to preaching peace. You know, in the most turbulent or violent times in Kano's history, he was always preaching for calm, restraint, and peace and unity. He was so accepting of people, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Yoruba, Hausa, you know, his best friends were Igbos, Yorubas, and okay, I'm going to put it bluntly, for a conservative society like Kano, where they're not really accepting of other tribes, where a lot of them are prejudiced, I'm sorry, but that's what I experienced myself. This was a man who was not prejudiced in any way, who loved people irrespective of where they come from, how they worship. And I think that that is the one attribute that I tend to emulate a lot. I never want to judge people based on where they come from, what they do, how they worship. I think we're all human beings and we should all live in peace and unity. So that is the greatest achievement that I think about him was his life dedicated to accepting people and uniting people under such, you know, a divisive state like Kano. So he was always preaching for unity and harmony, for people to accept each other, you know. So I think that's what I loved and admired most about him. And I hope to also be someone who preaches that unity and harmony amongst different tribes, races. You know, I think the world needs to be more united and accept each other because that's where we can avoid all this conflict and wars and unnecessary violence and killing. And, you know, it's just, there's a beauty in being
In
united.
being united. Have you ever been in trouble that you've had to pull his name out of the bag to say, "Do you know who I am? Are you alright? Are you alright?" Have you ever
Well,
been in such troubles.
You know, no matter what, no matter even if you're in a tight spot or you're just even just being you and just playing around, just when you mention who you are, everyone's like, wow. You know, it's like he's so admired and people really feel honored to be in your presence because they love and admire him so much. So I kind of feel that when I'm around people. It's like, they're like, wow, you are his daughter. Like people that never met him or even people that did, they kind of have this like memories of him and they feel that and they kind of, they kind of give you that love too that they had for him. And just like when I met you. So, yeah, I feel
So
that a lot.
let's talk about this documentary.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to put it together, and what challenges did you face?
The documentary from pre-production to the post-production, it took a period of like 6 months.
Wow.
I can't wait for people to watch it and learn so much about Ado Bayero, who he was. People that have now heard of him, I hope they now know that there was such an amazing monarch in our country. We don't need to just know about foreign monarchs, but our own leaders. And it also explores the North, which isn't really always out there in pop culture. It's kind of in the background. Nigerians are really talented, and whether it's the Yorubas, the Igbos, different tribes, they're really out there with their story and their talents, but you don't really get to experience the northern side of Nigeria. So I think this, for the first time, kind of brings viewers to see that other side, the culture and history of the North.
And I also believe that the story, we should be the ones telling our stories.
Exactly.
For a long time. And my brother is somewhere in the studio, and he was saying his respect grew in leaps and bounds for Femi Adebayo with Jagun Jagun. Because our stories have been left to others to tell.
Yeah.
We've been misrepresented.
Yeah,
it's not been told. And when we have people like you, because a lot of things I've heard and seen from the North, I've been from either Izu Ojukwu, who is not Hausa, or some non-Hausa people who grew up in the North,
yeah.
or AY who did he did it in Amajiri and all that. I am particularly enthralled that this movie, this documentary, is coming from the North, from a Northerner. But Nigeria does not have a documentary culture. Because I was talking to somebody. Oh, I met Charles Novia, who does a lot of documentaries, and I was telling them I saw Charles Novia, Ulisa Dibwa, and I was talking to them about you, that I met this young lady who did this documentary, and they said, wow. And I said, I think we should do more of this. And they said, see, documentaries are not cheap. That's why people don't do documentaries.
Yeah.
And so what gave you the confidence
to do a documentary? I'm someone who likes, I respect risk takers a lot. And I don't think if you're not bold and taking risk, you never know what's going to come out of it. So I know this is a risk. Yeah, we're the country that are not too much into documentaries, but why? We can change the narrative.
Someone can do it.
Especially if I'm a young woman. I think people like me, the youth demographic might be curious, like, okay, if she can do a documentary, maybe it's cool and hip. Let's see if that's something.
How do you feel when, my grandfather was a train driver.
Yeah.
He lived all over Nigeria. He lived from Enugu to Zaria to Kaduna, and that generation gave us a stereotype of the Nigerian, depending on where you are from. If you're Yoruba, Hausa people who are supposed to be very backward, Igbo people who are supposed to be very aggressive, Yoruba people who are the best people in the world. If you are Igbo, the whole of Nigeria is against you. That's the mindset. The whole of Nigeria is against you. Yoruba people are the worst back
Fighters.
backbiters in the world. Hausa people are savages.
Yes, yes.
When if you're Hausa, then Yoruba people are what did he? No, Igbo people are Kubo or something like that. We
You
all had
know,
these stereotypes that we boxed different people
people
in.
and tribes.
So when you hear people talk about Hausa people, and you are this enlightened, and you know so much, how do you feel?
Yeah, it's easy to judge people when they're not really out there to change that stereotypical mindset that people have about you. You know, when you go out there and you show the world what you're capable of, then maybe people won't judge you that way. They'll see a different side of those stereotypes. Like, most people don't look at me and think, how's that girl?
Yes, they never
Most people are like, are you a Zainab? Where are you from? Like,
from Ibadan.
the south. We have Muslims in the south also, maybe Kogi or something. I'm like, no, I'm from Kano. They're like, where? Kano? In the north?
Kano
Kano.
or Kano streets.
Exactly. Like, are you sure? Like, Kano after Kaduna? I'm like, I'm like, yeah. They're like, how are you looking like this, dressed like this, you speak this way? I don't get it. I'm like, I'm a Kano girl. Like, I was born and raised in Kano. They're like, what? How's that possible? I'm like, yeah, we're different. Everyone has different. Like, then I say, okay, I'm also part South. They're like, oh, okay.
No
That's
wonder.
making sense now. That's why you're not in the hijab and in the abaya. I'm like, sometimes I do wear them. They're like, yeah, but you're different. So I think the fact that I was raised by a mom who is from Edo State gave me this confidence to be this woman who goes after her dreams. I mean, she raised me to be ambitious, to believe in myself. She didn't raise me to be this typical Muslim girl who has to be submissive. She told me, don't let someone bring you down. If you feel intimidated, if you feel like someone is being unfair, speak out. Express yourself, don't be scared. And I grew up with that mindset. And a lot of people in the north thought I was weird for that. Because a girl is supposed to be quiet and submissive.
You don't talk.
But I kind of got to a point where I was like, no, I'm not going to be that typical Hausa girl. I'm going to be different. I need to speak up and express myself. So I think if we tend to change that mindset and try to be different from the past, I think people can view us in a different way and a different light.
So what's the way forward with this project? You're done. Where on what platforms do you plan to air it? If there's anybody watching now that has a platform, what do you want to say to that person?
I would say that this is a documentary about the history and culture of Nigeria, and this is a way for us to show the world what Nigeria is about, like a powerful monarch who represents a dynasty in the north. I think this is a story that should be watched by not just Nigerians, but Africans, Europeans, anywhere in the world, Asians, because it represents a unique history of Nigeria. And I think it'll be great for streaming platforms so that different people in different parts of the world can just watch this and be inspired.
Okay, let's stop being so serious. let me take you on a trip. This game is called the GC or in charade.
Okay.
I have this sand glass.
Okay.
And I have 5 questions. I'll describe these people, these things. Then you have to answer as many as you can before I run out of sand.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. He's a Nigerian musician. He's married to another Nigerian musician. He sings mostly in Yoruba, but in the last couple of years. It's been on the ascendancy.
Is that Adekunle Gold?
God bless you, Adekunle Gold. It's a university in Lagos. It's not Unilag. It's
Lasso?
Lasso. She's an actress. How do I describe this person? She's an actress. She's an actress. It's a box where you watch things from. You can tune it, you can change it, you can connect other things to it. It can be smart, it can be
TV?
TV, good. This lady at a point in time was one of the two biggest actresses in Nigeria. She's Igbo.
Genevieve
Naji. Now let me go to the other one. She was the new Genevieve.
Out.
That's on me. That's Rita Dominic. Dominic.
Okay.
So you got, guess what you got?
4?
4 over 5. Congratulations. So because you did so well.
Thank you.
2,
3 and 4.
And 4.
4. Thank you.
You didn't do a movie on mothers.
Oh.
Person. You did a movie, a documentary on a father. I'll give you 1 extra.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Because I'm a father myself. And I have to appreciate
daughters who love their fathers.
So, after this documentary, is it just a one-off or you are here to stay?
I definitely intend to stay. I want to do more documentaries and even more fictional movies and explore different stories because I love to write and I love to create, and this is something that I think I'm passionate enough about to, do for the long term. So I would definitely love to do more.
Do you plan to attend film festivals?
I'd love to. I would love to do it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Zainab, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Sorry that we delayed you so much.
No problem.
As a sign of our love and appreciation, we specially give this to you. Much. I hope you love this picture.
Oh, wow. I love it. It's great. Thank you
so very much.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the success.
Thank you
with
so
this
much.
Documentary.
Thank you. I'm
Netflix,
honored.
Amazon. All of you. I've seen bits and bits of the documentary. I think you'll be doing your platform a huge favor, and Nigeria and Nigerians and our culture and tradition a huge favor if you take this on.
Thank
All
you.
the best, my sister.
Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you too.
So that's just with the GCON today. I've had the young, beautiful, and determined Zainab. Watch out for her. See you some other time.